Hi guys, compliment of the season. Welcome back to Vuleco DIY. My name is Barry Vure. In this video, I'm going to show you how I turn my steel frame table into a drip press / miter saw station. Without further ado, let's get started. We are going to start by removing the original top. Since I have other use for it, I will be replacing it with a 3/4 inch plywood or 19mm. I took measurement of the frame just to verify that I'm on the right track. I measured and cut the top portion to size using my track saw. This is going to be 23 inches wide and 72 inches long. I clamped the top to the frame and pre-drilled holes underneath it. Then I drove in some 1-inch screws with washers as spacer so it does not protrude. Next, I break down more plywood to manageable sizes and cut them to their final length on the table saw. I then drilled all of my pocket holes to begin assembly of the risers for the platform. At this point, I did not use glue because I want to be able to take it apart if necessary. I placed the platform on the risers and traced the outside profile with my pencil. I measured and marked out the opening for my drip press column. This will also enable me to drop the drip press table down to the minimum. I placed the side panel on the legs of the table and then clamped it down and hit it a couple of times to trace the location of the bolt. I then drill holes on the mark so the side panel can sit flush with the legs. Here I used some self-drilling lat screws to attach the side panel to the table legs. The lat screws was a bit difficult to drill into the metal, so I pre-drilled it instead before driving in the screws. Here I'm cutting some 2x4 lumbars. This will serve as the toe kick for the two cabinets. I planed all the numbers down to their desired width. I overloaded the planer and I tripped the wall breaker. The next thing I did was to rip off the lumbar's factory edges to the desired height on my table saw. I assembled the base for the cabinet. This is also going to serve as a toe kick. I made sure everything was squared before driving in some pocket hole screws. Next, I assembled the cabinet box. I like to use the corner clamps I pick up from Rockler to keep everything in place as I move through the assembly. Again, I pre-drilled and drive in some screws without using glue. To cover the back of the cabinet, I use a 1/4 inch plywood and drive in some screws. I then attach the cabinet to the base with screws. It was time to install the cabinet boxes into their respective locations. It wasn't as easy as I thought. I cut everything precisely according to my plan. However, my mistake was that I needed to leave room for adjustment. The only option I had was to sand down the sides of the cabinet. While it worked, it was still very difficult to put them in place. when I took the measurement, I did not consider the level of the floor, and when I adjust the legs of the table, it threw the cabinet out of balance. And one mistake I did was I did not give a clearance to account for that adjustment. So that's what happened. It was time to build the cabinet drawers. I start by ripping 3/4 inch plywood on my table saw. I drill in some pocket holes and assemble all the drawers with pocket hole screws. Next thing I did was to install the drawer slides. First, I placed a 3/4 inch plywood under the drawer slide as a spacer. I made sure the drawer slide was flush with the front of the risers. Then I drive in some screws. I then repeat the same process on all other drawers. I installed the drawer face by using 2 pen color cards as shims. I placed the drawer face on it, clamped the drawer face to the drawers, and drive in some screws. Next, I drill holes for the hinges to the right depth. I used the Kreg drawer hinge jig for this process. I did make a test cut off camera just to make sure that it wasn't going to go too deep. To install the doors, I used 4 pieces of plywood as shims. I then set the door there. I made sure the spacing were right before tracing out the holes on the hinges. I then center punch and pre-drill the holes, then driving some screws. Here I mark and install these metal plates to the platform. This is where the top cover is going to sit. I also mark and drill hole on the riser and glue in a magnet. On the top cover, I drill 3 holes. For the 2 front holes, I glue in a magnet, and for the back one, I screw in a washer. This will all make sense in a bit. Next thing to do is to cut a recess for the T-track. I set my bit to 6mm for the first pass. I then adjust my bit to the same height as the T-track for the second pass. I install some block on each end to prevent tear out when I start or finish the cut. I use my homemade jig as a guide to drill holes on the platform for wood plugs. Next, I attach the face frame with glue and brag nails. Here I use edge bend to cover the edges of the platforms. Next, I set the table saw blade to the right angle, then cut down the holder clamp for the base of my drip press. I place the platform on the risers and secure it with screws. Then I insert the wood plugs into their respective holes. I did not use any glue here for the assembly, so if I ever make any changes, it can be easily disassembled. Next, I install this box I made out of 3/4 inch plywood. This is where I'm going to install all my dust collection accessories. Next, I mark 2.5 inches from the front. I clamp down a piece of wood as a reference, then place down my shim for the miter saw. In my case, I use 1/2 inch plywood. I cut the T-track to length and installed that T-track using screws. I then attach the dust collection hose for the drip press. I design and 3D print my stop block. If you are interested in the stop block, leave a comment in the comment section below. I then install my stick-on tape measure in the front of the T-track. I also design and 3D print dust hose mount for my 2.5 inch flexible hose. If you're also interested, leave a comment in the comment section below. If you think this is something you would like to build, let me know, because if I get enough interest, I will make a plan for it. I'm happy with the way things turned out. I hope this was helpful and informative. Thank you for watching. See you next time.